Welcome back to From My Living Room to Yours. Usually I'm here with my clergy collar on, but today I decided I need to get really real with you. And so I'm just here in my regular clothes, at my desk, in my living room, the way I typically am every day. I'm dealing with the realities of having this cast on my foot and having limited mobility. I basically can't get out of my house unless I have help because of all the stairs outside my door down to the driveway. Some of you have heard me talk about that my dad's in the hospital back in Montana receiving treatment for COVID. He's out of the woods concerning all things respiratory, but he's having some lingering side effects, including slurred speech and difficulty walking. He's making progress, but he has to go to a rehab facility tomorrow, and we don't know how long that therapy might be required. Of course, he's in isolation, so even if I wasn't in a cast, I couldn't go visit him. I'm also dealing with his older sister and his baby sister who have their own ideas about what should be done with him and for him. And of course, I have this really, really busy job at St. Andrews, a job I love, but a job that can be overwhelming at times. In the midst of everything, we had 2 deaths in the parish last week, and Holy Week is just around the corner, so it's a lot. Even if we weren't in a pandemic, this would have been a couple of hard weeks. And I'm not telling you all of this so that you'll feel sorry for me. I'm telling you all this because I want you to know I get it. I know how challenging life can be. And I know what it feels like to just want to unplug from it all, to not answer my phone, to not check my email, to not look at text messages. I basically want to crawl under my bed and not come out until it's all over. But most of us don't have that choice, do we? I wouldn't even last for an hour under there, we all know it, because once I breathe down deep, I remember a couple of things. One is I have a job to do. Another is that I literally took a vow in my ordination to the priesthood to be a wholesome example by word and action of living a Christian life. So I have to find ways to carry on and share that information with you. And of course, there are my own personal obligations about what it means to be a good daughter. So it's helpful to me when I hear someone like Dr. Catherine Meeks, who runs the Episcopal Office of Racial Reconciliation, admit her vulnerability. A few weeks ago, I heard her speak at an online conference. She said she constantly tells her friends and herself that she is in over her head and that she can't understand how she got to have this big job that she has. Of course, the rest of us know why. She's brilliant. She's highly educated, very experienced, and most of us can't imagine who would do the amazing work that she does. So she said after she has her little morning pity party, then she says to God, "Okay, God, if you want me to do this, then you better help me through it." And what do you know? God helps her through the day. She was telling that story as part of a conversation with our presiding bishop, Michael Curry. So Bishop Curry shared a story of his vulnerability about how when he has suffered from the brain injury he had a few years back, he had that right before he had surgery, right before he had to go speak with the primates of across the whole Anglican communion in England. And he wasn't at that point, he was still in rehab to learn to do things like sign his own name. So he said Michael Curry couldn't even sign his own name at this meeting. And yet Michael Curry had to stand up and talk and defend to the rest of the primates why the Episcopal Church had decided to approve same-sex marriages. So he said it wasn't him that spoke that day. It was God speaking through him. This is the good news, that God is with us even in the most trying times. Maybe we're more aware of God's presence during these trying times. So don't forget that God is with you too. Maybe you'll want to try what I do to become more aware of God's presence. Take some full, deep, gentle belly breaths. You've heard me say this before. Take those deep breaths in, imagining that you are breathing in God's love, breathing in God's patience, God's compassion, God's peace. And as you exhale, breathe out and release anxiety, worry, frustration. Do that several times, and then hopefully you will, like I do, notice, oh, yeah, I'm not in this alone. God is with us. Now go take on the day. Until next time, be humble, be grateful, be kind.